All right, I'm back again, right? News Loop, and I'm here with CNBC article, right? News Loop with Greg Magoo. Here we go. CNBC, Trump vowed to declare a national emergency as soon as he takes office. Here's how he might do it. President-elect Trump told voters that he would slash their energy bills by declaring a national emergency on day one of his administration. It is unclear what authorities Trump might invoke, but presidents have broad discretion to declare emergencies and face little pushback from the courts. And I don't like this thing where president just, he's already been ruled to or deemed to have immunity for anything he does, even if it's illegal or criminal. The Supreme Court need to fix this mess before he gets out of hand. He's already getting out of hand. Trump is expected to issue a series of executive orders to reverse Biden administration energy policies. I'm sure some of these people in certain sectors are going to love this. President-elect Donald Trump has vowed to declare a national energy emergency as soon as he takes office Monday, months after promising voters that he would cut their electric and gasoline prices in half the first year of his administration. To achieve this rapid reduction in energy costs, I will declare a national emergency to allow us to dramatically increase energy production, generation, and supply, Trump told supporters at a rally in Potterville, Michigan last August. Starting on day one, I will approve new drilling, new pipelines, new refineries, new power plants, new reactors, and we will slash the red tape. We can slash the red tape and create all this other stuff. Who's going to pay for it? Because the current Republicans are claiming that our spending is too much. And why would you want to cut things that are already working for the American people? It's already helping Americans. Is it because it didn't come from you, so you just want to cut it? Anyway, the president-elect reiterated as recently as December 22nd his intention to declare a national energy emergency. On the first day of his administration, he vowed to issue a series of executive orders to reverse Biden administration policies on natural gas export, drilling, and emission standards. What are you going to do? Deregulate it so they can mess up the environment, pollute up water and air, and that affect nearby neighborhoods? All for the rich people who own these businesses just become rich and don't have to worry about any safety and regulations to be safe. Trump plans to establish a National Energy Council led by North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum is picked to lead the Department of Interior. Burgum said during a Senate hearing on his nomination this week that he expects the council to be established through an executive order. Politics is so messy. It is unclear whether emergency declaration would be largely symbolic or would invoke broader powers that go beyond the executive orders on energy that Trump is widely expected to issue Monday. So he will be a dictator on day one thing that he's looking at doing. The president-elect transition team did not respond to a request for comment. Of course, they're not going to respond. My anticipation is that it will be a rhetorical declaration of an energy emergency, said Mike Summers, president of the oil industry lobby group American Petroleum Institute. When you bundle together the executive orders, that will be the answer to what to do about energy emergency. There are several emergency statutes Trump could invoke that are related to energy, said Glenn Schwartz, director of the energy policy at the consulting firm Rapidon Energy. Emergencies are often loosely defined under federal law, giving the president broad discretion to use them as he sees fit, Schwartz says. And Trump would likely face little pushback from the courts because they are reluctant to challenge presidential determinations related to national security, Schwartz said. What you end up with is that even if Trump were to expand his emergency powers in unprecedented ways, It is not clear that the courts would step in and halt any of these resulting actions, the analyst said. Likely emergency authorities. There is a clear precedent for Trump to invoke emergency authority to promote power generation and expand the nation's fuel supply. Schwartz told clients in a research report published last Thursday, authorities using the powers would waive certain environmental and pollution rules related to energy. See, I just comment about that. These rich people just want to just run ramshod over safety guidelines and at the detriment of the people that are going to be hurt by them polluting stuff and not having any safety measures on their products. Trump could issue fuel waivers under the Clean Air Act to allow gasoline onto the market that would otherwise violate federal air quality standards. Oh. The analyst said, presidents have often used such waivers whenever they needed to stretch the country's gasoline supply and keep prices in check, he said. Trump could also invoke the Federal Powers Act to order power plants to run at maximum capacity and not comply with pollution limits, Schwartz said. Why would they want to do all this stuff? All because of money. I said, to me, this is wrong. Wall Street going to love it. The people who invest in these sectors are going to love it. You know, because people are, of course, people like the gas. Some people depend on natural gas to do their cooking and other things, to heat their homes. But just to do these things, you know, go back to the days where they're just polluting everything, poisoning the air, the water supply, the ground, and then make all kind of money and then just ditch that area when things go bad and don't do anything to repair the mess that they cause, all because of money. It's like insurance companies leaving certain areas because, they don't want to pay out all those claims. It's going to bankrupt them. But the moment you don't pay them, if you're paying for insurance and you run into hard times and stop paying the insurance, they will drop you like a rock, or they're going to raise your premiums first to where you can't even pay it, and then they're going to drop you. But anyway, the Federal Powers Act. You would think we're in a war right now for him to be doing all this stuff. The provision has been really used since World War II and has mostly been reserved for situations where extreme weather has overwhelmed power plants, Schwartz said. The largest grid operator in the US, PJM Interconnection, has warned of a power shortfall as coal plants are retired faster than new capacity is brought online. PGM operates the grid in all our parts of 13 states in the Mid-Atlantic, Midwest, and South. The situation could become more acute as electricity demand increases significantly as the tech sector builds out energy-hungry data centers to support artificial intelligence operation. And say that data center thing, all those data storage things that they're doing, warehousing and all that, especially crypto mining and all that, they use a lot of energy. And they need a lot of water for cooling, and it seems like stuff is just going to go through the roof for the wrong reasons. And it's going to cost. But it's the poor people going to be paying the taxes for all this. The first Trump administration considered invoking the act in 2018 in order utilities to buy 2 years of power from coal and nuclear plants that were at risk of shutting down. The administration at the time ultimately dropped the idea after facing pushback from the industry. Trump could also opt for a broader statute that lets the president suspend pollution laws for industrial facilities, power plants, oil refinery, steel mills, chemical plants, and other industrial facilities in emergency situations, Schwartz said. So to hell with all of our health. They're just going to spread pollution all over. Rivers are going to be flowing with pollution, contaminants. It's going to get into the farmlands. Is that what they want? This is what rich people are so, what's the word? I can't even find the word. They're so power hungry and greedy that they want to make money at all costs because it fattens their pocket and their wealth, but they don't care how it affects anybody else. The stuff that they're doing that might be unsafe while they're making money with this business. Okay, let me continue to read. There's less support under the federal law for the president to force new production. Schwartz said Trump could direct federal agencies to fast-track environmental reviews on energy projects he supports, such as pipelines. But the president cannot use emergency authority to circumvent bedrock environmental policies, such as the National Environmental Policy Act and the Endangered Species Act, the analyst said. Expected executive orders. Okay. We've been reading a lot about the oil sectors for a minute now. You don't tell what kind of promises he made for the money to these guys. Oil industry lobbyists at the American Petroleum Institute are anticipating that Trump will issue a series of orders tied to energy as soon as Monday. The administration is expected to issue an order lifting the Biden team pause on new liquefied natural gas export facilities, Summers said. The president-elect will also likely try to reverse President Biden's recent decision to ban drilling in 625 million acres of federal waters. So we're going to pollute all of that. I tell you, we're going to be the destruction of our own earth. Trump's authority to do this has been disputed, and such an order would likely end up in court. Not that the court, been doing the right thing lately when it comes to the rich and well connected. We are of the view that he has the ability to reverse that and will defend that in court, Summers said. The industry is anticipating the president will also direct the Interior Department to increase oil and gas lease sales in the Gulf of Mexico, Summers said. The Biden administration had issued the fewest leases in history under a program set to run through 2029. These decisions are not expected to have any immediate impact on production. The U.S. has been the world's largest producer of oil for 6 years, wow, outpacing Saudi Arabia and Russia. The CEO of Exxon and Chevron have made clear that production decisions are based on market conditions, not in response to who is in the White House. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink, Schwartz said. He can give them all the resources they need to be able to drill, but I haven't seen anything that suggests he can force them to take it out on the ground, to take it out off the ground. Trump is expected to withdraw the U.S. from Paris Climate Agreement. He did that, I think, his last time he was president. Executive orders targeting tailpipe emissions and fuel economy standards for cars are also expected. Still, only so much can be done through executive orders, Summers said. And the directives often have to go through a rulemaking process that takes time. The oil industry is more focused on pushing for more durable policy changes in the Republican-controlled Congress, he said. There's a lot of stuff that they're going to be able to do on day one other than direct federal agencies to fulfill their promise of energy dominance, Summers said. Oh, sounds like a lot of craziness to me. It seemed like all the protections were put in place to protect the planet. The people that don't believe in global warming and climate change are just going to push for, instead of adapting and focusing on clean energy, electrifying, just innovating. I mean, they have electric cars out there that they're working on, windmills, solar. But, sometimes when change is coming for the better, the old way of doing things, they find it hard to make that change. Especially if they made a lot of money off of it, but they know they don't want to make that change. And they're only thinking of how much money they can make instead of trying to innovate themselves and go into different sectors or reinvent themselves or something to make sure that they don't go back to damaging the planet. It's like we're setting ourselves back. All because these guys want to make money and they lobby the president. He takes promises probably for money, pay the player, whatever he does. I don't know, you know. But this doesn't sound good to me, ladies and gentlemen. It might benefit some people, sectors on their pocket in the investments that are in these sectors, but trust me, people that are have in high interest in this type of business are gonna be happy with Trump. But to what end? If they're gonna roll back regulations and stuff, safety standards, and anyway, I just thought this should be out there in the news. This is just an article. Sometimes they don't even talk about these things on the corporate media. So I'm doing my little part to bring what I think people need to be aware of. So that's it for the news, right? News Loop with Greg Magoo. I'm out. Until next time.